ठीक है, आप कैसे कनेक्टेड हैं OnlyIAS के साथ?
I googled what are the best coaching institutes for mock interviews.
ओके,
तो OnlyIAS's name came up.
मतलब इट केम इन यूट्यूब या मतलब गूगल
कोरा।
में? हाँ,
कोरा।
अच्छा, कोरा में आया।
May I come in, sir?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Sorry you have to wait.
No,
Please
sir.
sit. Sorry you have to
Thank you,
wait for so long.
No, sir, please.
But anyway, please tell about yourself.
I'm Kashish Bakshi. I'm 25 years old. I'm a law graduate from NLIU Bhopal. I graduated in 2021. My optional is philosophy. My father is in the army. I was born in Ambala. I'm from Haryana.
Okay. So, being a law graduate, why you have chosen philosophy as your subject?
So while I was studying law, I was introduced to a subject called jurisprudence, which was very
Can you be
philosophical.
slightly louder?
Yes, sir. While I was studying law, I was introduced to a subject called jurisprudence, which is very philosophical in nature. That is when I was first introduced to philosophy as a subject. Once I was deciding what I want to choose for UPSC, I went through the philosophy syllabus and it seemed to be really of my interest, so I went with philosophy.
Okay. Okay, you have been working with children.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, what is the age group in which IQ is formed?
So the age group in which IQ is formed is initially the predominant development of the brain takes place by 5, which is when more than 50% of the brain is developed. However, by the time entire gray matter is developed, so it starts from the hypothalamus, which is at the back of the brain, and it keeps on developing till we're 25, is what I have read.
0 to 8, 0 to 6 rather.
Yes, sir.
80% is developed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what is our country doing about this age group?
So initially, we focused on children from 6 to 14 years of age when we passed the RT and we made our amendments. And currently in the NEP 2020 is when they have introduced an ECC policy, or early childhood care policy, wherein children from 3 years to 6 years will also now be inculcated under RTE for people who are marginalized. Otherwise, people who are well-to-do do join school at 3. So to bring parity.
Okay. But there was a system, there was a scheme which was introduced long back. What is it called?
So is it ICDS?
Yes. Started in which year?
So it's 1970.
76.
76.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what was its aim or where has it failed?
So ICDS predominantly was focused on the nutrition of pregnant, lactating mothers and these children in the early childhood period.
Yeah.
So, and on that front, it has done well to a certain extent. It has not done away with.
Where has it failed?
So in terms of inculcating them in formal education, it has not fared that well.
Okay. Now tell me, there is something called, now HR people, they have started talking of something more than IQ for recruiting a person. What is it that they are talking of?
EQ. Emotional quotient. The emotional quotient of a person.
EQ and also SQ,
Social.
the spiritual quotient.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So looking at that, I mean, what our country is doing regarding EQ and SQ, if anything?
So, as far as I am aware, while I was in school, till class 8th, moral science as a subject was mandated in all CBSE affiliated schools. That subject in itself does try to inculcate ethics and a general sense of empathy in the person. In addition to that, within the curriculum itself, the English literature and Hindi literature books do try to give that side of an education to a child so that the child can develop holistically in terms of.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that is very, very important for the people to be successful in life, okay? Can you link this with what has been happening in Kota? What has been happening in Kota?
So, students have been committing suicide, which is very unfortunate.
Yes.
The government has taken a few steps.
So, what is missing?
So, the moral support. So, I would not say it is as much about emotional intelligence of those students, but I feel they lack moral support, emotional support of family, because first of all, most of them are living away from their familial support. They are at a very tender age where they're impressionable and are very susceptible to the stress that the entire ecosystem does provide. And to do away with that, I think the steps that are being taken are very helpful. Recently, I read that the government has said children below 16 years of age shall not be taken in coaching classes. I think that is a good step, because by then the child will be exposed to a lot of other environments where they can develop holistically with their peer and not focus entirely on
Okay.
academics.
Okay, tell me my last question. You see, this, when the Britishers left, the Indian administrative civil service became the administrative service later on.
Yes.
Police service also continued, forest service also continued. The imperial judicial service, what was so peculiar about it that in the later on judiciary, they had to go for recruiting advocates directly. So what was the missing link?
So, as far as I'm aware, Indians were not allowed to be judges in cases where either foreigners or Anglo-Indians were involved. And so, the Britishers did try to change this by bringing in the Ilbert Bill during Lord Ripon's period, but that did not follow through, and hence they had to make that change in the setup itself.
Yeah, so when the Britishers left,
Yes, sir.
there were very few officers in the Indian judicial service.
services who were Indians, yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's why they took directly the advocates.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then after that what happened?
So, in the constitution itself, the qualifications of Supreme Court and High Court judges is given.
That's okay, qualification is not the issue.
In terms of appointment,
Yeah,
So-
the advocates who came,
yes, sir.
they enjoyed it so much that they said this is a better system of recruiting rather than having an exam.
Yes, sir. So there was a lot of to and fro between the executive and the judiciary regarding this. 3 judges' cases were passed, which culminated with the collegium, which we still follow, wherein 5 senior-most judges from the Supreme Court with the CJI decide who's going to be the judges for Supreme Court and High Court, higher judiciary.
But do you think it's a fair system?
So, this question of appointment of judges is, I think, controversial throughout jurisdictions. In the USA, they are directly appointed by the president. In UK also, it is not as ironed out as it should be. And the same goes for India. I believe there should be a balance. There should be a parity between executive and judiciary in terms of appointment. Right now, as has been accepted by Justice Kaul when he was retiring, that the collegium system itself can undergo modifications, or NJAC can be brought in with certain modifications.
Right, sir.
Why they are so, there are women, we find a lot of women advocates practicing in the courts, but there are very few in high courts and very, very few in Supreme Court. I mean, is it because of competence, or is it because of gender bias, or it is because of the collegium system?
So, as far as I am aware, women are less in number since the beginning of the career, that is at the higher education level itself, the enrollment ratio of women is much less compared to men. They simultaneously in either subordinate judiciary or higher judiciary or advocates, women are less in number. This extrapolates to them being much more in minority at the
But
higher
are
judiciary.
they so less that there you will find only one Supreme Court or very few in High Courts?
Sir, the system does not, I believe, take into account the fact that there should be parity between the number of women and men who are serving as in the higher judiciary. And I think that because of certain subconscious gender biases, it could be that there are not as many. I read a report which also said that many women advocates who are practicing, they themselves do not want to serve as judges because they quote issues of the double burden in family and the double burden of
I don't
course.
think they are going and cooking at home, except for taking care of children, which
Yes, sir.
everybody does. Okay, you are fond of reading and you have quoted George Orwell. That is, the famous book is 1984. He says something about powers of state or totalitarianism, which is mentioned. Do you think we are heading towards that?
Sir, I don't think we're heading towards that kind of a state which was
Because the Big
envisioned.
Brother is watching everywhere. Now with the advent of AI and internet, AI and other social media, the Big Brother is watching you.
So simultaneously, we are looking into data privacy. Recently, India passed the DP, the data protection, the data protection bill
No,
for
that is
private.
only when the state gives certain this thing.
Yes, sir.
But for that matter, state gives so much of protection to women also, children also. But are they really protected? Can you walk at night at 11 o'clock in Delhi without an escort? So it means the Big Brother, even state or even the hackers and everybody, they will have access to. So don't you think that we are heading towards that
So,
with AI, particularly with AI and internet?
so because certain cons exist to an innovation or a research, I do not believe it should be written off completely. I believe there can be safeguards embedded within AI itself. There is a concept of black box AI, which has been the companies in general who are right now in control of major innovations have agreed that we will not go with black box AI because therein we can't control even the algorithm.
You must have, because you said that you are fond of jurisprudence, and you must have read the famous theory which evolves around few people in the cave, and then they remained there and they killed each other, and finally one person was rescued. So what do you feel? I mean, where does morality stand? Where does law come in? Where does society come in? Was it justified? You can explain on that?
So I think you are referring to Plato's allegory of the cave. So morality is developed by society. Whatever the general societal norms are believed to be right, that forms morality of society, and that keeps on changing. That is very fluid in nature, and because people's perception of what is right and wrong keeps changing, the idea of morality also keeps changing. This morality, when gets the seal and sanction of the state or gets formalized into law, and subsequently law also is not rigid absolutely. And
Okay, now last question. Because of peculiar circumstances, you are staying in Rajasthan, which is considered to be one of the land of most valiant men and women, and then your father is in the army, and you are so fond of law. Tell me, I'll go give you a quotation. War is to men what maternity is to women. Mussolini.
yes, sir.
Was he right?
So I don't believe so.
Why do you believe? Why don't you believe?
Yes, sir. So current circumstances will lead someone to believe it could be true with 2 wars ongoing. However, we
But
have
you must have seen that after every war, there was some cleansing. There was somebody became with the victorious. Even in Second World War, America became the most prominent state, and UK was finished. India got freedom. So many others got freedom. So these are don't you consider these are the benefits of that particular war?
So, war leads to a sort of power imbalance. The winner writes the history and does gain a lot of power. But I do not believe America was a superpower for so many years only because it won the war. It did undergo economic reforms, rapid industrialization had already taken place. America, by the time World War II was initiated, America in itself was a very robust economy. And the war, winning the war only helped that. And even after that, it has been leading in all trends that we have seen globally in terms of leading the supply chains, leading in the digital economy. And so I believe war in itself cannot lead to you.
But we got freedom.
So even our freedom we had been working for.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are you in the debate
You are
college?
Kashish.
It looks like.
Kashish Bakshi.
Yes, sir.
Good, Kashish. You have a quite impressive profile.
Thank you, sir.
Lot many things. From where to start interaction? Okay, Haryana. How is it that most of the laurels coming to Haryana goes to the credit of women? I see. लड़के लोग क्या केवल गुल्ली डंडा खेलते रहते हैं?
So I think there is a parity in terms of the medals that women and men are winning, especially in the sports department. I think both are doing very well. It's great that from Haryana, even women are performing equally.
Okay.
I would say
Okay.
rather
You
that,
said equally, not better.
so the numbers that I've gone through, I did not feel that women are more in number. Maybe women are getting more popular, are getting more fame, are getting more acknowledgement,
Okay.
which is required to encourage them
Okay.
to join this field. But if we tally the number of winners, even in wrestling or in boxing or sports where Haryana is doing well, there is parity in terms of women
Okay,
and
fine.
men.
Okay, good justification. You are daughter of a major general.
Yes.
So you understand how important is safety and security of country, whether from internal disturbances or external threats. You have given, of course, this is examination not for defense forces. You have given IPS at 5th priority.
Yes, sir.
So how this low priority to police?
So,
IPS gave the leadership to internal security,
yes, sir.
safety and security of country and our
Yes, sir.
citizens of country from internal threats.
Yes, sir. So I was motivated by my father's nature of service initially, and that is what has propelled me towards the civil administration side. But I think I realized as I grew up that I would be a better asset in an administrative role rather than it being a very physically demanding or a law and order or a I would perform equally. And so that is the reason why I did not go for defense services also.
You did not go for?
Defense.
Okay.
I did not, I could have joined the army if
But
that
you have given
interested
choice.
me.
If you get your 5th choice, you will be joining police?
And I will serve to the best of my ability. So that is,
All right, fine. So we come to your BA LLB honors.
yes.
Interesting. And you are also take interest in yoga, vipassana, fiction, Sartre, existentialism. Very interesting. Okay, let's talk on law.
Yes, sir.
Is there a code of conduct for lawyers?
Yes, sir. So it is not justiciable or enforceable. It is a code of ethics. However, there does exist.
So how it is ensured that they follow this code of ethics? I'm
So-
giving you one illustrative example. My impression is that most of the petitions of false cases are drafted by lawyers. Somebody who wants to falsely implicate somebody will approach a friendly lawyer or any lawyer, pay the fee, and that guy will draft a very impressive petition to be filed in the court of CJM or to go to the nearest jurisdictional police station and file a FIR. So you said that it is ethics, code of ethics. But there is a gap,
So
serious
there
gap.
is one. Yes, sir. However, the fact that the lawyers uphold these ethics, I think, is ensured in later stages. We cannot bar these lawyers legally from engaging in such activities, but they are reprimanded by courts.
Reprimanded by courts.
Yes, sir.
I doubt. No court will dare reprimand a lawyer. Anyway, again, law?
Yes, sir.
Fine. You are a lady. Recently, there was a move to make 498A, that is atrocity against a married woman, mostly for dowry, etc., to make this law compoundable. The matter perhaps has gone to Honorable Supreme Court, and Government of India has opposed this move. You think it should be made compoundable? I have a reason. There is a spate of false cases. It has become very fashionable to lodge false cases under 498A.
Yes,
And
sir.
then the woman who is unhappy with her married life will implicate father-in-law, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, husband of sister, wife of brother-in-law, everybody in the family. So what's your take on it? You being a lady and also knowing the law.
Yes, sir. So my take is that it should not be made compoundable.
Okay.
There is already a provision of plea bargaining in such cases.
It is there, but it
Wherein-
doesn't work. It has not been able to stop false cases under 498A, and Honorable Supreme Court has expressed concern on several times.
Yes, sir.
Several times, even to the extent of restraining police from arresting under 498A.
Yes, sir.
Am I wrong?
No, yes, sir, you're absolutely right. The incidents of false cases are very
No,
high.
am I wrong that the Supreme Court has restrained police from arresting under 498A?
Sir, I will have to read up on this. I think I came across something like this, but I'm not sure enough to conclusively say.
Fine, it's,
Thank you,
you
sir.
check it out.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank-
sir. Thank you.
Okay, Kashish, from which area would you like me to ask the questions? States, law, philosophy, defense, current affairs, whatever you like.
Philosophy, sir.
Law?
Philosophy.
Philosophy, okay. So, there was a philosopher who said, I know that I don't know anything. Who was that philosopher and what exactly does it mean? I know that I don't know anything.
So Socrates said this.
Socrates, yeah. What exactly does it mean?
So he was trying to inculcate the sense of questioning amongst youngsters at that time. And he was looked upon as someone who has a lot of wisdom and is probably the most well-read, most knowledgeable person in Athens right at that time. But he wanted to express this message to everyone who was following him that I believe even I don't know anything, and my pursuit for knowledge, my pursuit to understand the world better is an ongoing process. And only when I accept that there is some lack in my knowledge will I try harder, that I will.
Okay, which are the main pillars of Gandhian philosophy, and is Gandhian philosophy still relevant?
Yes, sir. So the main pillars of Gandhian philosophy are egalitarianism, which he quoted as Ram Rajya. There is trusteeship for the economic side of it. He believed in self-reliant villages for the economic aspect in a country. And I believe it is still relevant. I believe the Gandhian philosophy finds place in the directive principles and has some role in how we frame our laws henceforth.
Is there any point which is not relevant nowadays related with Gandhian philosophy, which you think that it is not much relevance, it is of now or not much relevance as of now?
So, Gandhiji believed that in too much industrialization is not good. We need to go back to cottage industries and believed in the Khadi movement. I think that can be modified a little, as Jawaharlal Nehru also believed that industrialization.
What else?
Sir Gandhiji believed in the caste system. He was against Ambedkar's idea of complete annihilation of the caste. He believed in the Varna system. He actively supported that. I think actively supporting the caste system now in an age where it has become very fragile with politicization of caste, with caste
Okay,
becoming
what
a
is,
vote bank.
which are the main differences between Buddhism and Jainism?
Yes, sir. So the first major difference is that Buddhism does not believe in the idea of God, whereas Jainism does believe in the idea of God in the form of Kaivalya. Buddhism believes in Shanikvad, which is momentariness, and it says that there is continuous destruction and production, whereas Jainism says it's three ratna in a different sense, that there is production, destruction, and there is a substance also. And this substance will never undergo production or destruction. So that is one clear difference that the Jainas subsequently used to even oppose Buddha, the Buddhist philosophy on.
Okay, what is Santhara?
So Santhara is a practice wherein by the end of a Jain person's life, they undergo fasting onto death.
Okay, does right to life include right to die?
So it, not right now in its entirety. We have passive euthanasia through Supreme Court judges in Ram Sharmila case. Passive euthanasia has been allowed, but as a jurisdiction we do not allow right to die in its
Through
entirety.
passive euthanasia it is allowed.
Yes, sir.
But it is only the Supreme Court who said like that. No doubt whatever you have said that is right, that passive euthanasia is allowed.
Yes, sir.
So this is the Supreme Court's verdict that right to life includes right to die.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Right to die with
Okay.
dignity.
Now, what is the difference, by the way, between active euthanasia and passive euthanasia?
So passive euthanasia is pulling out the life support system of that person. Active euthanasia is actively either injecting or stopping their medication. I have come across several forms of active euthanasia in some forms which are practiced in
Okay,
Belgium.
my last question. What is capital punishment and pros and cons related with capital punishment, and what is your take on it, whether at all it should continue?
Okay, yes, sir. So capital punishment is death penalty, wherein person's life is taken away by the state for a crime prescribed by law through due procedure of law. The
Pros, cons, and your take on it.
Yes, sir. So cons of death penalty are that it is completely against the principle of reformative justice. If the person is no longer available and does not exist, you cannot ensure that that person undergoes some reform and changes. His conscience cannot change. You cannot bring genuine change in society through this.
Okay, something related with law, should I ask?
Yes, sir.
LLB you have done.
Yes.
LLB stands for?
So I am aware of it. It's a Latin
Yeah, Latin word.
Latin word, but can I take a second to recall?
Yeah, please.
So I'm
Legum baccalaureus.
Yes.
Now, why double L? Legum baccalaureus, L and B.
Yes, sir.
Why double L?
So I'm not aware. I'm
I
sorry.
think it is to make it plural. Bachelor of Laws जैसा कहते हैं
Yes,
ना?
yes, sir.
Similarly, LLB.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
One more question or no?
Yes, sir.
Any constitutional amendment? How many constitutional amendments have taken so far?
104.
104. More than that.
105.
More than that. 106. Okay,
106,
select
sorry.
any constitutional amendment starting from first to 106, and then we will have a detailed conversation for less than a minute related with that. Any constitutional amendment starting from first to 106.
So, 86th constitutional amendment.
86. What is that 86? Yeah, right.
Right to education.
Right to education. So, through 86th amendment in the constitution, this right was added.
Yes, sir.
And through this constitutional amendment only, there was a one more clause added in the.
So it was added one, it is a unique constitutional amendment because 3 different clauses were added, one to fundamental rights.
Yeah,
one to
and another
DPS,
to fundamental duties.
Duties
So, how
also.
many fundamental duties are there?
11.
11.
Yes.
So, this which is that last one, 11th related with this?
So that society in general and parents should strive to ensure children.
Parents or
Guardians.
guardians.
Guardians,
Yeah, there might be some who are not having parents. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kashish,
Yes, sir.
does Mandori rings a bell?
Yes, sir.
Maggie,
Yes, sir.
is the sunset still that beautiful?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. Now, no more law, no more philosophy.
Okay.
Okay. You have tracked that GDP ranking of India is doing quite good. What is the GDP ranking of India?
So in terms of PPP, it is 3rd, and in nominal GDP terms, it is 5th.
Why so?
So we have improved. 10 years
No.
ago, we were 11th.
Why so? Why we are at 3rd position from one parameter and we are at 5th position from other parameter?
So it is the difference in calculation of GDP. In PPP terms, it is a basket of goods and their prices are calculated. It is purchasing power parity of that GDP. For nominal GDP, prices of all goods and services of that particular year, not including inflation, not.
I agreed with you.
Yes, sir.
But why the difference?
So,
India is performing better at PPP and India is not that performing better in compared to nominal GDP. Why so?
So it is purely a statistical thing. I
No.
think the basket of goods that are chosen.
I am going to give you a hint.
Yes, sir.
It's related to inflation.
So inflation is. So I will have to.
Okay,
figure
let's
out.
make it more simpler. So India's GDP is calculated in which currency?
Rupees.
No.
So at NSO we
Yes, I
calculate.
know so, but the ranking we are doing at 5th and 3rd, it will
Yes,
be at
dollars.
dollar, US
Yes.
dollars.
Yes, sir.
So don't you think that US dollar value will vary?
Yes, sir.
And that is why we have different ranking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, done with that.
Thank
Now, you mentioned that you listen to English rock. What difference between rock and punk music?
So I think punk is a subset of rock,
Okay.
but punk is a little emo
Emo.
compared to rock. As
What
in,
do you mean by emo?
So punk includes a lot of, in terms of just listening, if I may guess, I do not know the exact nitty-gritties of it, but punk has a lot more electric guitar and a lot less
That's
drumming.
metal.
Yes.
When it goes to metal,
Yes.
it goes too much electric guitar. The punk is too much against the authorities. The
Yes,
music goes against the authorities. Okay, taken.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Kashish, you are a very good candidate,
Thank you, sir.
a delight.
Thank you, sir.
But some things you have to improve. Okay. One is that when he was asking questions, you were just looking at him. So all of us were kind of dozing off.
Okay.
And then when it comes to giving score, we will listen to the last few words you said and give you a score. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So make sure every time, at least half of the time or 60% time you can look at that person, but rest of the time look at others also.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
So don't miss out on this.
Yes, sir.
We would like that you do join the service. So that is one. Second, What newspapers do you read?
Indian Express. Indian Express, sir.
Indian Express. Okay, you can add a financial paper also. When is your interview?
6th March.
6 March. You have some time. Add a financial paper also
Okay, sir.
and find out about total, what is the size of budget, GDP ratio, GST collection, direct, indirect, everything.
Yes.
At least broad things you should know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's very, very important. And you can listen to or read Shekhar Gupta's Cut the Clutter,
Yes, sir.
or he has an opinion also.
Yes,
right?
sir. I do follow that, sir.
Yeah, and Palki Sharma,
Yes, sir.
and there's this betterindia.com. Because you see, talking to you, you appear very, very genuine person.
Thank you, sir.
But generally, the image people have of a army person is that not so connected with the world.
Yes, sir.
So your connection with the ground should also be there.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this Better India will give you some ideas, and somewhere if you can take the interview to your area, like you have been teaching the children. You have written that as your hobby,
Yes, sir.
So if you can give some leads from there,
Okay.
some intelligent leads, then the interview can go in that direction.
Okay, sir.
But then you should be knowing what you're talking.
Yes, sir.
That's why I was trying to talk about IQ, EQ, the formation of the mind of the child.
Yes, sir.
Because for the whole population, demographic dividend or disaster. So if you can pull towards that, it will help you on anything which you are good at.
Okay.
You should not get caught in your own trap.
Okay, sir.
So otherwise, you are an excellent candidate.
Thank you, sir.
And you can use your hands a bit if you want sometimes.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Yeah. So I think you will make it. How did your written go?
So they went well. This was my second mains. I missed last year by 10 marks. So this time I'm satisfied.
Last year you appeared in the interview.
No, sir. I missed mains by 10 marks.
Okay. So you're almost there. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Anything you'll add more?
Undoubtedly, what he said, I fully agree with him. But with him, when you are talking about amendments, you are taking a chance. Don't do that because you are otherwise doing pretty well. So, not saying that amendment number. Don't make a guess.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Did three guesses 183, 84, something like that. Don't do that.
Now you say
104 क्या है? Extension of reservation for
हाँ,
SC, STs in the
104 का भी
parliament
आपने वो किया,
and no
वो नहीं
seats
करना।
for
Anglo-Indians.
Anglo-Indians.
वो बिल्कुल
This
see,
was
what you
104.
should do is, if you want to guess, simply, sir, may I take a guess? Then guess. Don't. If you are not sure, then say, sir, I am not sure, but may I take a guess?
And that too only when you are 95% sure.
No, even 80% and above. That's okay. Okay. But there are people who have said no to 5 questions in a row and made it also.
Yes, sir.
So don't be afraid if you don't know something. It doesn't matter. This is not a knowledge test. That has already happened. It's a question of personality. Even admitting that I don't know is a very big thing. And that's the problem with IAS officers, honestly speaking. They start behaving as if they know everything. The real thing in life is that I don't know anything.
वो जो Socrates.
ठीक है? That is the truth of life.
क्योंकि इतना बड़ा ocean है knowledge कि उसमें से आप कितना जान सकते हो? That should be the answer related with that.
Yes.
ठीक है ना?
मैं तो कुछ नहीं जानता.
So simply say what you don't know. Simply say, sir, I would like to learn more about it.
That was too long. That answer was too long.
Then the person will.
उसका last वाले का meaning यही है.
हाँ जी.
इतना बड़ा समुद्र है knowledge. उसमें से कितना few drops.
You would like to add something?
If you land, he was my colleague.
बहुत tight करके नहीं बैठे.
Colleague was disturbed.
Okay, so I think you are clutching your hands.
Yes, sir.
See, actually, it shows nervousness.
Yes.
Right? You are nervous. Everyone gets nervous.
Tight, okay.
Breathe. Control your breathing. Don't control your hands. Move them.
Sir, I tend to move my hands a lot when I'm talking. That's why I hold them tightly so that I...
Use them. There's no
हाँ,
how.
कर सकते हैं कोई issue नहीं.
See, these are mocks. We could have seen that if you are moving too much or not. Now we don't know.
Yes, sir.
So next time, rather than clutching them, move them. If you are moving too much, we
भी
will.
नहीं करना है.
हाँ जी.
Now it's your turn to ask questions. You have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, all the best. You have a wonderful smile. Use it.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank
चाहे
you.
क्वेश्चन नहीं भी बता रही हो तब भी नर्वस नहीं होना.
Yes.
हाँ, don't give up. नहीं आ रहे तो just say I'm sorry. I would like to.
नॉर्मल हो गई
Don't clutch.
Yes.
ठीक है? You खोलो.
ऐसे ठीक है.
Yes, sir. Okay.
नहीं, use it also.
से इसका एक प्रैक्टिकल चीज बताता हूँ तुमको. People read you. Suppose you are in authority and someone is interacting with you, countering you. If that person notices you clutching like this, और ऊपर जाता pressurize करेगा.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you,
doing
sir.
pretty well. Don't bother.
Thank you, sir.
He was disturbed that you have not given third choice as police, but I am very happy because this is custom and excise.
No, I was not, I just wanted to have your view on it.
चलिए, all the best.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank
Do
you,
well.
sir. Thank
All
you,
the
sir.
best.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks only once, eh? Once is good enough.
Okay. Okay.